going.
In the dark shadows, in the white cold, fearlessly we search for knowledge new and old. We drink the strong spirits and read the ancient tomes. The order of the Abracast. We are the brave and the bold. The Abracast. Occult, history, conspiracy, and violence.
Alright, where do we leave off? Hey, I'm John. This is the Abracast. I thought I would just zip in here real quick and do the second part of the introduction to the Spake Zarathustra. I just had to run up a bunch of stairs while the intro was playing. I'm sorry. So we're doing this live. Fuck it, we'll do it live. And so if it sounds different than the regular show, like that's something you guys should know. It's a whole different set of equipment. It's not going through my soundboard. I have to use like a USB thing to do this. I'm not used to it. And there's an additional problem because I get this wild echo through my headphones. If you guys listened to yesterday's episode, I bitch about it quite a little bit. And if I start to slow down, it's because I'm paying too much attention to the headphones and I'm trying to like catch up with the echo. So with all that being aside, so we'll get into this where we left Zarathustra. We left him. Oh, hold on, let me flip over here. Also, I'm learning this new app, so if it seems like I don't know what I'm doing, it's because I don't. Alright, so let's see what happens. We left Zarathustra, and he's in the middle. Okay, so he comes down off the mountain. He has an encounter with a forest wizard, and the forest wizard tells him, well, all I do is I just sing songs and laugh and praise God all day. And Zarathustra is like, I gotta go. Because you don't even know that God is dead. And he goes to the first little town he finds, and the town that he finds is, they have all gathered in, like, the town square to watch a tightrope walker. And before the tightrope walker can start his little routine or whatever, Zarathustra starts yelling and cajoling and heckling at the crowd, preaching to them about the Ubermensch. And he explains to him that the state of being that they're in, being mankind or humans, is the rope that stretches between one side of the tightrope and the other. The one side is an animal or a beast, and the other side is the Ubermensch. And he's saying the state that we're in is we're on the way to being Ubermensch, and I can tell you how to do it. And they heckle him, and he goes back, fire and brimstone's back to them, and he starts to realize that they're happy with the status quo. And he gives this brilliant, like, kind of preachy thing about them blinking. I used to say, like, the first primordial beast that swims out of the swamp, and he looks up at the sun, and just all he could do is blink at it. And this is kind of, I think, what Nietzsche is intimating with this blinking business. And the last line of yesterday's episode was, I believe, and here ended Zarathustra's first speech, which is also called the prologue. For at this point, he was interrupted by the clamor and the delight of the crowd. So here we go. I guess this is the end of his speech, which is the end of the prologue, but the actual prologue doesn't end. Here you go. Give us this last man, O Zarathustra, they shouted, and turn us into these last men. Then we shall make you a gift of the Overman. And all the people jubilated and chuckled with their tongues. They're making fun of him. They're saying, Zarathustra, you're a fool. But Zarathustra became sad. And he said to his heart, they do not understand me, and I am not the mouth for these ears. I seem to have lived too long in the mountains and listened too much to the brooks and to the trees. And I talk to them as goat herders. My soul is unmoved and bright as the mountains in the morning. But they think that I'm cold, and I jeer, and I make dreadful jests. And they look at me and they laugh. And as they laugh, they even hate me. There is ice in their laughter. Then something happened that made every mouth dumb and every eye rigid. For meanwhile, the tightrope walker, so this whole time that he's been preaching and arguing and heckling with these people, the tightrope walker's just been up there waiting to start his little gimmick. For meanwhile, the tightrope walker had begun his performance and had stepped out of the small door, and he was walking over the rope stretched between two towers. The two towers would be Beast and Ubermensch. The rope between is mankind, or the humans. And suspended over the marketplace and the people. And when he had reached the exact middle of his course, the small door opened once more, and a fellow in motley clothes, looking like a jester, jumped out and followed the first one with quick steps. So he's this tightrope walker. He's on the rope. He's in the middle of being mankind on his way to the Ubermensch. And this foolish jester is chasing him. And he yells, "Forward, lame foot!" He shouted in an awe-inspiring voice. "Forward, lazy bones! Smuggler, pale face! Or I shall tickle you with my heel. What are you doing here between the towers? The tower is where you belong, and you ought to be locked up. You block the way for one better than yourself." And with every word, he came closer and closer. But when he was but one step behind, the dreadful thing happened which made every mouth dumb and every eye rigid. He uttered a devilish cry and jumped over the man who stood in his way. And this man, however, seeing his rival win, lost his head and the rope, and tossed away his pole and plunged into the depths even faster. A whirlpool of arms and legs a marketplace became, as the sea when a tempest pierces it, and people rushed apart and over one another, especially at the place where the body must hit the ground. Zarathustra, however... This is all very interesting. Zarathustra, however, did not move, and it was right next to him that the body fell, badly maimed and disfigured, but not yet dead. After a while, the shattered man recovered consciousness and saw their Zarathustra. Kneeling beside him, "What are you doing here?" he asked at last. "I have long known that the devil would trip me, and now he will drag me to hell. Would you prevent him?" Alright, well that's how the chat works. Okay. "By my honor, friend," answered Zarathustra, "all that of which you speak does not exist. There is no devil and no hell. Your soul will not be dead even before your body, and fear nothing further." The man looked up suspiciously. "If you speak the truth," he said, "I lose nothing when I lose my life. I am not much more than a beast." Remember, he was halfway between. "I am not much more than a beast that has been taught to dance by blows and few meager morsels." "No, by no means," said Zarathustra. "You have made danger your vocation. There is nothing contemptible in that. Now you perish of your vocation, for that I will bury you with my own hands." When Zarathustra had said this, the dying man answered no more, but he moved his hand as if he sought Zarathustra's hand in thanks. So, it's funny because we're in this age, we're in this world nowadays where, people, it's like folks don't have, critical thinking. Everything's got to be either black and white. I've been accused of this in my iTunes rates and reviews. I've been accused of seeing things in black and white. And I think that's an unfair criticism of me. But I have no idea what episode this jackass was listening to or whatever. But I think Nietzsche is a classic example of that. Nietzsche is he's a complex guy with a complex mind and a complex view. Leftists look at Nietzsche and they latch on to him in some ways because of his critique and, his critique of religion. And so they will pick and choose Nietzsche to attack the church. And, flyover country that are religious. Well, conservatives oftentimes see, God is dead, there is no hell, there is no heaven, yada yada yada. Conservatives will latch on to parts of Nietzsche, not so much anymore because Nietzsche's been so associated with Hitler in the past and all of this, and Crowley proclaimed that Nietzsche was a prophet of Thelema and all this stuff. So he's been pretty bashed, but recently you will see people who are combating social justice warriors will grab onto parts of Nietzsche. He clearly talks about it. He clearly talks about he predicted, I think, and clearly predicted the phenomenon of social justice warriors. We talked about it a little bit on last night's live episode, where he's talking about equality. And I think what he's really talking about is he's talking about equality versus equity, which is something that's it's a debate that's going on right now, especially in the wake of Project Veritas's Google expose, and even way before that or whatever. So I'm not exactly sure what path I veered off into to talk about this. Oh, I was just talking about the spectrum. I was talking about Nietzsche's spectrum and how you can look at him as a leftist figure, and recently, like The Return of the Kings talks at length about Nietzsche. Maybe not at length. They talk a little bit, I suppose. They talk moderately about Nietzsche's prediction of social justice warriorism, cancel culture and all of this. So, on one hand, we're talking about a guy that some people think would, Nazis that promoted book burning were into Nietzsche. Social justice warriors who are into cancel culture, which is basically book burning, are into Nietzsche. And then there's like this middle road. I'm not into book burning or cancel culture, and I'm a conservative. I'm kind of into Nietzsche. So it's interesting. I guess I'm just trying to point out the dichotomy of black and white and the complexity. And when you talk about someone who wrote as much as Nietzsche did, they're, you can pick and choose, I guess. You can pick and choose. I totally think that rate and review that said that I was like a black and white thinker, I think that's wrong. I would like to be able to talk to that guy and figure out what fucking the one episode he listened to. Alright, so this dude's dying, and Zarathustra is like, hey bro, I'm gonna bury you. Spoiler alert, he doesn't bury him with his own hands. Meanwhile, the evening came and the marketplace hid, back to the book, in the marketplace hid in darkness. Then the people scattered, for even curiosity and terror grew weary, but Zarathustra sat on the ground near this dead man, and he was lost in thought, forgetting in time. At last night came, and a cold wind blew over the lonely one. Then Zarathustra rose, and he said to his heart, verily, it is a beautiful catch of fish that Zarathustra has brought in today. Not a man he has caught, but a corpse. Remember in last night's episode when the forest wizard was talking to him about dragging his corpse? Or dragging, the forest wizard said that you're dragging your body. He's dragging his body. Existentially. Human existence is uncanny and still without meaning. A jester can become a man's fatality. I will teach men the meaning of their existence. The overman, the Ubermensch, the lightning out of the dark cloud of man. But I am still far from them, and my sense does not speak to their sense. To men, I am still the mean between a fool and a corpse. Dark is the night, dark are Zarathustra's ways. Come cold, stiff companion, I shall carry you where I may bury you with my own hands. When Zarathustra had said this to his heart, he hoisted up the corpse on his back and started on his way. And he had not taken 100 steps when a man sneaked up on him and whispered in his ear. And behold, it was the jester from the tower. Quote, go away from this town, Zarathustra, he said. Unquote, he said. Quote, it's dangerous when you get into the quotations. There are too many here who hate you and are hated by the good and the just, and they call you their enemy and their despiser, and you are hated by the believers in the true faith, and they call you the danger of the multitude, and it was your good fortune that you were laughed at, and verily you talked like a jester. And it was your good fortune that you stooped to the dead dog When you lowered yourself so far, you saved your own life for today. But go away from this town, or tomorrow I shall leap over you, one living over one dead. And when he had said this, the man vanished, but Zarathustra went on through the dark lanes. At the gate of the town, he met gravediggers, and they shone torches in his face, recognized Zarathustra, and mocked him. Zarathustra carries off a dead dog. How nice that Zarathustra has become a gravedigger, for our hands are too clean for this roast. Would Zarathustra steal this bite from the devil? Well then, we should wish you a good meal. If only the devil were not a better thief than Zarathustra. He will steal them both, and he will gobble up both. And they laughed and put their heads together. Zarathustra never said a word, and went on his way, and he had walked 2 hours past forests and swamps, and he heard so much of the hungry howling of the wolves that he himself felt hungry. So he stopped at a lonely house in which a light was burning. Like a robber, hunger overtakes me, said Zarathustra. Well, he'd been sitting next to this dead body for half the day. He'd probably forgotten to eat. It's like once his body dropped out of the ground, Zarathustra kind of went into like a coma. Like he kind of took a nap or something while the crowd cleared out. That's weird, right? I mean, who does that? If a body fell out of the air almost onto me, I wouldn't take a nap. So he stopped at a lonely house in which a light was burning. Oh, I already said that. Like a robber, hunger overtakes me, said Zarathustra. In forests and swamps my hunger overtakes me, and in the deep of night my hunger is certainly capricious, and often it comes to me only after a meal. And today it did not come to me all day, because he was sleeping next to this dead body. Where could it have been? It was sleeping next to this dead body. And at that, Zarathustra knocked on the door of the house. An old man appeared, carrying the light, and asked, "Who is this that comes to me and to my bed sleep?" And Zarathustra says, "Living in a dead man. Give me something to eat and to drink. I forgot about it during the day. He who feeds the hunger refreshes his own soul. Thus speaks wisdom." And the old man went away, but returned shortly, and offered Zarathustra bread and wine. "This is an evil region for the hungry," he said. "That is why I live here. Beast and man come to me, the hermit, but bid your companion too to eat and drink. He is wearier than you are." Zarathustra replied, "My companion is dead. I should hardly be able to persuade him." "I don't care," said the old man peevishly. "Whoever knocks on my door must also take what I offer and eat and be off." He's like, it's like in Seinfeld, where the Yankee Beans, the old guy, and they're like manipulating his jaws to masticate cookies, and the EMTs show up and they're like, "You're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to do that. That's bad." Thereupon Zarathustra walked another 2 hours, trusting the path and the light of the stars, for he was used to walking at night. But he liked to look at the faces of all that slept. But when dawn came, Zarathustra found himself in a deep forest, and he did not see a path anywhere, So he laid the dead man into a hollow tree, for he wanted to protect him from the wolves, and he laid down on the ground in the moss, his head under a tree, and soon he fell asleep, his body weary and his soul unmoved. I gotta sneeze. Oh God, hold on. What the fuck's going on? Welcome to the Abercast. I'm John. Check out this preview for this Fellowcraft episode. To hear the whole episode, head over to Subscribestar and join the Fellowcraft tier. It's only $3. This whole series is available right now. It's 6 parts. Okay? It's 6 parts. It's all about the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. What in the heck are the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, you might ask? Well, I'm glad you asked. The Emerald Tablets of Thoth, the history of the Emerald Tablets is strange and beyond belief of modern scientists. Their antiquity is stupendous, dating back some 36,000 years before Christ. The author is Thoth, an Atlantean priest king who founded a colony in ancient Egypt. And he wrote the Emerald Tablets in his native Atlantean language, which was translated by Dr. Michael Durrell. And here we talk about it. We have 6 episodes. It's like 285 minutes of content over at the Fellowcraft tier at Subscribestar. That's almost 5 fucking hours of talking about these tablets. And there's much more. There's many, many more Fellowcraft episodes over there. So enjoy it, and I hope to see you over Subscribestar. Thanks. Harkye, O man, and list to my warning. Be ye free from the bondage of night. Surrender not your soul to the brothers of darkness, and keep thy face ever turned towards the light. Know ye not, O man, that your sorrow only has come through the veil of the night? I, man, heed ye my warning. Strive ever upwards, and turn your soul towards the light. For well know they that those have traveled far towards the sun on their pathway of light, and have great and yet greater power to bind with the darkness of the children of light. List ye, O man, to he who comes to you, but weigh in the balance of his words. Be of light, for many there are who walk in dark brightness. It's cool. And yet are not the children of light. Easy it is to follow their pathway, easy to follow the path that they lead. But yes, O man, heed my warning. Light comes only to him who strives. It's cool too. Hard is the pathway that leads to wisdom, and hard is the pathway that leads to light. Many shall ye find the stones in your pathway, many the mountains to climb towards the light. Yet know ye, O man, to him that overcometh, free will he be of the pathway of light. Follow ye not the dark brothers ever. Always be a child of light. For know ye, O man, that in the end light must conquer, and darkness and night must be banished from light. Listen, O man, and heed this wisdom, even as darkness, so is the light. When the darkness is banished and all the veils are rendered, out there shall flash from the darkness the light. Even as exists among men the dark brothers, so there exist the brothers of light, their antagonists, they of the brothers of darkness, seeking to free men from the night. Powers they have, mighty and potent, knowing the law, the planets obey. Work they ever in harmony and order, freeing the man's soul from its bondage of night. Secret and hidden walk they also, known not are they to the children of men, yet know that they walk with thee, showing the way for the children of men. Ever have they fought the dark brothers, conquering and conquering time without end, yet always light shall in the end be master, driving away the darkness of night. So Thoth is he's a glass half full kind of guy. I'm not a glass half full kind of guy. I'm not a glass half empty kind of guy. I look at the glass and I say, this glass needs to be bigger than it is.
Learn more at theabracast.com. Get graphic elements, notes, worksheets, and text versions of selected episodes, as well as access to the private Abracast workgroup by signing into the mailing list. Get all that, plus exclusive episodes, by supporting the show and becoming a subscriber at subscribestar.com.
Alright, where were we? Oh, these fucking headphones. This echo, I can't take it. Alright, so Zarathustra passes out while he's lugging this dead body around. For a long time, Zarathustra slept. And not only dawn passed over his face, but the morning too. And at last, however, his eyes opened. Amazed, Zarathustra looked into the woods and the silence. Amazed, he looked into himself. And he rose quickly like a seafarer who suddenly sees land and is jubilated. For he saw a new truth, and thus he spoke to his heart. An insight has come to me. Companions I need, living ones, not dead companions, and corpses, whom I carry with myself wherever I want. Living companions I need to follow me because they want to follow themselves wherever I want. An insight has come to me. Let Zarathustra speak not to the people, but to the companions. Zarathustra shall not become the shepherd and dog of a herd, to lure many away from the herd. For that I have come. The people have heard, shall be angry with me, Zarathustra, to be called a robber by the shepherds. Shepherds, I say, but they shall call themselves the good and the just. Shepherds, I say, but they shall call themselves believers in the true faith. Behold the good and the just, whom do they hate most? The man who breaks their tables of values. The breaker, the lawbreaker, yet he is the creator. And behold the believers of all faiths, whom do they hate most? The man who breaks their tables of values, the breaker, the lawbreaker, yet he is the creator. Companions, the creator seeks not corpses, not herds and believers, fellow creators, the creator seeks those who write new values on new tablets. Companions, the creator seeks and fellow harvesters. For pantheons the Creator seeks, and fellow harvesters, for everything about him is ripe for the harvest. And he lacks 100 sickles, so he plucks ears and is annoyed. Companions the Creator seeks, and such as know how to whet their sickles, destroyers they will be called, the despisers of good and evil. The despisers of good and evil. He's talking about okay, so when Crowley calls Nietzsche a prophet of Thelema, this is probably one of the things he was talking about. The despisers of good and evil. We're rising above morality in some way. We get into this a little bit. If you go to the feature topic link on ebercast.com and you go through we have two sections of Thelema. We have the Jack Parsons section of Thelema, which is pretty short. I mean, there's only like 6 or 8 episodes. 8. There's only like 6 or 7 episodes. Only like 6 or 7 hours of dissecting the writings of Jack Parsons. And there's way more than that Crowley Thelema stuff. Yeah, so that's interesting. The despisers of good and evil. But they are, back to the book, they are harvesters of those who celebrate, fellow creators. Zarathustra seeks fellow harvesters and fellow celebrants, and are herds and shepherds and corpses to him. And you, my first companion, farewell. I buried you well in a hollow tree, which is hilarious because he promised the dude to bury him with his own hands, but he winds up just jamming him in a hollow tree. I have hidden you well from the wolves. What? I don't think so. I've seen wolves dig stuff up, but I part from you. The time is up. Between dawn and dawn, a new truth has come to me. No shepherd shall I be, or grave digger. Never again shall I speak to the people, for the last time I have spoken to the dead. I shall join the creators, the harvesters, the celebrants. I shall show them the rainbow in all the steps. To the Ubermensch, to the hermit, I shall sing my song to the lonesome and the tombsome, and whoever still has ears for the unheard. His heart shall become heavy with happiness. To my goal I will go on my own way. Go your own way, go your own way. Over those who hesitate and lag behind I shall leap. Thus let my going be their going under. Remember we talked about last episode about the metaphor of going under. 10. This is what Zarathustra had told his heart when the sun stood high at noon and he looked into the air. Remember last episode? Oh, this is so awesome. Questioning, for overheard, he heard the sharp call of a bird, and behold, an eagle soared through the sky in wide circles, and on him there hung a serpent, not like prey, but like a friend. And she kept herself wound around his neck. These are my animals, said Zarathustra, and was happy in his heart. The proudest animal under the sun, and the wisest animal under the sun. And they have gone out on a search. They want to determine whether Zarathustra was still alive, and verily do I still live. I found life more dangerous among men than among animals. On dangerous paths walks Zarathustra. May my animals lead me. When Zarathustra had said this, he recalled, oh boy, the words of the saint in the forest sighed, and spoke thus to his heart, that I might be wiser, that I might be wise through and through, like my serpent. But there I ask impossible, so I ask my pride that it always go along with my wisdom. So it's pretty heavy metal. And when my wisdom leaves me one day, alas, it loves to fly away. Let my pride then fly with my folly. Thus Zarathustra began to go under. Alright, so I'm not sure if you guys are digging this. This echo in my fucking headset is just driving me crazy. I need to figure out how to do this through my soundboard. Anyhow, I'm not sure if you guys are digging this. I tried to do this in video form, and I tried to do it on like live Facebook form, and it never really took off. So I'm not exactly sure. But this seems right to me. It seems right to me. I need to figure out a way to let you guys know when they're coming, so you can get in on the chat feature of these live broadcasts. So it's been like part 2 of a test, I suppose. And, yeah, so that's it. And, check out abracast.com. I mentioned the featured topic link a few times. So check that out. Check out, go buy, there's t-shirts there. Go buy a fucking t-shirt. Go buy a fucking Vessel of the Arts. The Vessel of the Art is there. You can buy that and support the show however you want. Don't ever forget Subscribestar, bitch, because that's the way to do it. And I need a lot of help on Subscribestar. I do need a lot of help on Subscribestar. Anyhow, so let me figure out how to do this. How are we going to do it? We'll do this. And then this. We'll do this. And then this. So thank you very much. I'm John. Over and out. Welcome to the Abracast. I'm John. Check out this preview for this Fellowcraft episode. To hear the whole episode, head over to Subscribestar and join the Fellowcraft tier. It's only $3. This whole series is available right now. It's 6 parts. Okay? It's 6 parts. It's all about the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. What in the heck are the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, you might ask? Well, I'm glad you asked. The Emerald Tablets of Thoth, the history of the Emerald Tablets is strange and beyond belief of modern scientists. Their antiquity is stupendous, dating back some 36,000 years before Christ. The author is Thoth, an Atlantean priest king who founded a colony in ancient Egypt. And he wrote the Emerald Tablets in his native Atlantean language, which was translated by Dr. Michael Duriel. And here we talk about it. We have 6 episodes. It's like 285 minutes of content over at the Fellowcraft tier at Subscribestar. That's almost 5 fucking hours of talking about these tablets. And there's much more. There's many, many more Fellowcraft episodes over there. So enjoy it, and I hope to see you over Subscribestar. Thanks. Harky, old man. and list to my warning. Be ye free from the bondage of night. Surrender not your soul to the brothers of darkness, and keep thy face ever turned towards the light. Know ye not, O man, that your sorrow only has come through the veil of the night? Aye, man, heed ye my warning. Strive ever upwards, and turn your soul towards the light. For well know they that those have traveled far towards the sun on their pathway of light, and have great and yet greater power to bind with the darkness of the children of light. List ye, O man, to he who comes to you, but weigh in the balance of his words. Be of light, for many there are who walk in dark brightness. It's cool. And yet are not the children of light. Easy it is to follow their pathway, easy to follow the path that they lead. But yes, O man, heed my warning. Light comes only to him who strives. It's cool too. Hard is the pathway that leads to wisdom, and hard is the pathway that leads to light. Many shall ye find the stones in your pathway, many the mountains to climb towards the light. Yet know ye, O man, to him that overcometh, free will he be of the pathway of light. Follow ye not the dark brothers ever. Always be a child of light. For know ye, O man, that in the end light must conquer, and darkness and night must be banished from light. Listen, O man, and heed this wisdom, even as darkness, so is the light. When the darkness is banished and all the veils are rendered, out there shall flash from the darkness the light. Even as exists among men the dark brothers, so there exist the brothers of light, their antagonists, they of the brothers of darkness, seeking to free men from the night. Powers they have, mighty and potent, knowing the law, the planets obey. Work they ever in harmony and order, freeing the man's soul from its bondage of night. Secret and hidden walk they also, known not are they to the children of men, yet know that they walk with thee, showing the way for the children of men. Ever have they fought the dark brothers, conquering and conquering time without end. Yet always light shall in the end be master, driving away the darkness of night. So Thoth is he's a glass half full kind of guy. I'm not a glass half full kind of guy. I'm not a glass half empty kind of guy. I look at the glass and I say, this glass needs to be bigger than it is. Fuck, I lost my spot. Masters, they of sun power, ever unseen, yet the guardians of men. Open to all is their pathway, open to he who will walk in the light. Free are they of dark amenti, free of the halls where life reigns supreme. Sons are they and lords of the morning, children of light to shine among men. Like man they are, yet are unlike, never divided where they in the past. One have they been in oneness eternal, throughout all space, since the beginning of time. Up did they come in oneness, with all one, up from the first space formed and unformed, given to man. Have they secrets that shall guard and protect him from all harm.
He who would travel the path of a master, free must he be from the bondage of night. Conquer must he the formless and shapeless. Conquer must he the phantom of fear. Knowing must he gain of all the secrets, travel the pathway that leads through the darkness. Yet ever before him keep the
I'm
light
pulling the
of
plug
his goal.
on my own
Obstacles
plug.
great
All right,
shall
here we
he
go.
meet in his pathway.
Learn
Yet
more
pressed.
at theabracast.com. Get graphic elements, notes, worksheets, and text versions of selected episodes, as well as access to the private Abracast workgroup by signing into the mailing list. Get all that
Hey,
plus
sign in that
exclusive
mailing
episodes
list.
by supporting
Sign
the
into
show
it.
and becoming
Get
a
into that
subscriber
work group.
at subscribestar.com.
Subscribestar.com, bitches. Do it. Do it. I need help.